Okay, it's Thursday, the 10th of February.
Yes, it is, yeah. Not Valentine's Day yet.
I'm here with the top man, Ryan Maxwell. We're having a mid-season catch-up.
Yeah.
How are we doing, Ryan? We all right?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, very good.
Good stuff.
Are you ready for the tough questions?
I'm ready.
Right.
Don't ask me lottery numbers, no clue.
Right, we had a chat pre-season, as you know, and you were telling me about having Nicky Simons alongside you, but obviously it didn't work out.
Unfortunately, no, Nicky... Basically, Nicky's had a change of house, a location, and a change of job.
Yeah.
And ultimately, logistics were a problem. Absolutely got it.
Yeah.
Nicky's not only my assistant manager, but
He was your go-to man, wasn't he?
great friend. Yeah. He's a great friend of mine and someone that I trust implicitly. And yeah, we miss him. But that's what happens in football. These things happen.
And then for a while you had Toby come along to help out. Toby Brown?
Oh, Jody.
Jody Brown.
Jody Brown. Yeah, Jody was here for a spell up until the Eastbourne game. I know Jody. I've known Jody a long time. I've played for him a few times in the past. He was out of work, so it was a case of we had a vacancy. He was out of work, and as I said, I know him a long time, so gave him the opportunity, and that didn't work out, and he's off to Billericay.
So you've been on your own since then?
Well, I was, but then Che, he didn't volunteer himself. I sort of volunteered him for it and said, "You're stepping up a notch." But we haven't brought anybody else in. No, we're understaffed, but good staff, not a problem.
Brilliant. We're going to have a quick look through the season now. So, August, we had a couple of tough games with the fancied sides, Dorking and Oxford, but we were unbeaten.
Yeah.
First month of the season, so happy with those performances?
Yeah, that was. I mean, we should have had more out of both, but no doubt you'll ask me those type of questions later on in the interview. But yeah, it was a tough start, but as you said, we came through it unbeaten. But on particularly the Dorking game, we definitely should have won that game, and also we had a man sitting off against Oxford and drew 1-8. So yeah, it was probably a sign for things to come, actually. But yeah, at the time I was very frustrated, but also when I saw the fixtures and I took it before when they came out,
I mean, the football we played seems to be quite a high pressing game at that time, and getting the ball down and really pushing the teams back.
Yeah, I think with personnel you adapt to what you've got and what they can or can't do. We came off the back with a very energetic pre-season, I must say, and everyone was able to do that. What happens is, as time goes on, sometimes that can falter. It's very difficult to play that way for the whole season.
Yeah.
We knew that at the time, but I thought it was important to make a mark, put our marker down, so to speak, and not be too respectful, of opposition. With bigger budgets or whatever else, we wanted to make sure that they knew they were in a game.
Right.
And the way to do that was to give them no time, space, or respect.
Yeah. Brilliant. And then things turned a bit for the worse in September. First defeat at home to Bath City, FA Cup defeat to Billericay, horrible humbling 6-0 at Eastbourne, and then Eastbourne changed his team in 3 centre-backs, and you had a couple of new players in.
Yeah, I did indeed, yeah. Well, so the Bath game I remember well. It was 2 penalties, wasn't it? 2 penalties. 2 terrible penalties. Lost 3-1. Billericay was the first game where we'd actually played poorly at that point. I remember that game well. It was a game we didn't play well. Eastbourne, brought a new guy. He got sent off after a few moments, and that really killed the game. Away from home against Eastbourne, it can be a long day. But to get sent off and concede the pen, they just opened us up well that day, and we were not prepared for it. They had their tails up and they really attacked and continually attacked and wanted to get a few goals that day. You could smell that, and that's happened to every team at this level this season since then.
Yeah, there's been a few 6s and 7s going in.
Yeah, there has. I mean, I don't know what that's about, but because it's happened to some. In fact, it's happened to Eastbourne as well.
Yeah.
I think it was Dulwich beat them 6 or 7, wasn't it? But anyway, yeah, it's happened to a number of teams. It happened just that day, and it was a long old afternoon, I can tell you.
I was there. we had the weekend break in Eastbourne specialist. October, 6 games, 6 defeats, more players in and out, another 500 hours worth of goal. going back to 18th September. Did you ever see that run coming?
No.
What do you think was behind it?
Oh no, I know what was behind it. The bottom line, we don't have a number of. We lost Luke Holness through injury, and he was our threat. Scored a hat trick versus Hemel, second game away from home. He was looking bright. He scored against Billericay. He was looking bright. He was looking like a threat. Lost him, and I don't know if it was pressure or what, but we created an incredible amount of chances in games and couldn't score. Femi Akinwande was our striker at the time. He literally, bless him, just could not hit the target. And I think over the period of time, and I've always said this, fair play to the lads, they never ever stopped giving it their all in every game, and that's why I knew it would turn. I kept on saying to it, at some point we will score a lucky goal, and in fact we did to end that run against Chippenham. It hit Miles Anderson and went in for a 1-1 draw away to Chippenham.
That's Gasling money.
Yeah.
So at that point, were you fearful of your job?
No, I'm never fearful of anything,
Right.
if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I understand it's a business, and I run a few businesses, and it's all about numbers.
Yeah.
I was aware that potentially a bit of pressure would be building, but I think also the chairman and I know what I'm working with. He's a realist, and we weren't playing poorly. We might have had a poor game amongst them, but they were so close in games that it was going to turn at some point.
Yeah. Okay. So then we had the abandoned game at Hampton when leading.
Yes.
A defeat to Havant, and a couple of wins in the FA Trophy and the Senior Cup. So, having gone through all those defeats, how important were those cup wins, trophy wins?
I think they were important for confidence, you know. From a manager's point of view, you want the players to feel confident, and when you're trying to install confidence and they're not getting the results that their performances deserve, those cup games came at a good time to get a bit of momentum and a win, some belief, and they definitely helped. And then it was like our luck at the time. We were beating Hampton 1-0 and the lights go out. You know, that was just, you couldn't write it. But again, and I'm going to give a lot of credit to this bunch of players. They have shown tremendous character to ride that bad time and come out of it. All credit to the players, mate.
Great. Moving to December, 3 away games on the trot. Draw with Concord, knockout to St Albans on pens in the trophy. A 3-0 defeat to Chelmsford, but we had COVID and injuries. And then draw with Dartford, which we were beaten 2-0. So mixed performances. What were you taking those games? And was the Dartford game down to belief or game management?
Okay, what would I take from it? The Concord game, we didn't play great, got the draw. I think we were winning at the time, weren't we? Disappointed with just the draw that day, but I was happy we stayed in the game and got an away point. What was the other game amongst that? Dartford. Okay, Dartford were winning 2-0 and conceded 2 late goals, didn't we? Yeah, very much. So the last kick of the game was the equaliser. Yeah, it was. That was hard to take, that one. I think it was a very soft decision from the referee, having watched it back, and that is game management. He doesn't need to go to ground anyway. But I think a win that day was deserved. We played really well.
They looked very ordinary.
Yeah, they did. And that was I think, as you said before, you mentioned the other game that we lost versus we lost to St Albans with 10 men. Is that right? So we lost St Albans with 10 men. We played great that day. We created some good chances with 10 men for 75 minutes, I believe, away from home. So that the confidence was now installed. I knew the boys that had belief again, and it would have been great to have just rewarded them with that win against Dartford. Dartford were top that day before the game, and you'd have thought it was us. I was absolutely delighted with the performance, and that gave me confidence to know that there was more results to come, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, brilliant. Then January, further progress against Basildon, hat-trick for Owen McEwen. Obviously, if we need to win it, but obviously we've been knocked out since then. And a defeat to Dorking, win at Hampton, 2 draws, Willing again, leading 2-0, and then a 0-0 at Bath. So on the plus side, we've started finding net, 11 goals in January. The most we've scored in any month. So should we have had more points?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's no doubt that we should have had more points, yes. It's frustrating when you've got a 2-0 win, a 2-0 lead, and you don't see a game out. And yes, game management needs to improve. I think we're well aware of that. Probably could have nicked it at Bath as well, looking back. In between that, was that the Dorking game during that as well? Lost
Yes,
2-1?
Dorking.
So Dorking we should have won. Dorking we created some great chances. 2 off the line that day. Mark White's quite an honest guy, I get on pretty well, and he said the same, that we didn't take our chances and they did. But again, a good performance. We started finding the net a bit. You mentioned Owen McKeown versus Balsden scored a hat-trick, yes, but that game you'd expect to win. But yes, it's still a confidence booster. And yeah, it was a decent period, but again, still should have had more.
Yeah.
But I was still pleased with the consistency of performance.
Right. Okay. And obviously this month, we're unbeaten.
Yep.
We've had
Unbeaten in 5.
Yeah, unbeaten in 5, which is the longest we've gone all season. 1 win, 4 draws. Do you now think, you spoke about confidence and winning the cup games, what have you, that is now the road up the table?
It has to be, doesn't it? If I said no, I shouldn't be in the job. I think that I bring in some better players, but I must add as well. But not just that, it's the character of player I've brought in as well. The standards have gone up, the training levels have gone up, expectations have gone up. We're not talking about being 2 games ahead of Billericay and above them. We're talking about, right, let's go and catch Willie. Let's go and catch, etc. And we're looking up rather than trying to get away from a situation. We're trying to climb up the ladder, and I've made it pretty clear that training is a place of work, and you've got to train well to get in the team.
Yeah.
Not just your performances now. You've got to train well as well.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing has gone up a level. Even on the backroom side of things, behind the scenes, our preparation is better, more professional. We're eating together as a team every Thursday, and everything's gone up a notch.
Yeah.
And I think that's helped all round, and it's attracted better professionalism.
Yeah. And having thrown two 2-0 leads away, Chelmsford Tuesday must have been very pleasing.
Well, that's football, isn't it? It's up and down like a yo-yo, and that's why we love the game. It's such a roller coaster of emotions. But I mean, the first goal at Chelmsford shouldn't stand.
No, I agree.
But it did. So the players had to deal with that. They didn't really, if I'm honest, because I've actually watched that game again today. Didn't really deal with it as well as what I'd want them to, but we're 2-0 down after 47, 48 minutes. And then we start to come into the game, and then we score, and then we look strong, and to be honest with you, I think we should have nicked it in the end. Deserved to nick it in the end with the constant pressure we put them under. We obviously got the draw, but as I said to the players, I think we wasted 45 minutes. And without getting beat, I hope we've learned from it.
Yeah.
I hope we've learned from that. Can't afford to waste 1 minute, never mind a half. So it was a bittersweet point.
Yeah.
Still felt like what should have been or could have been.
Right. Okay. I'll give some stats now. Time of speaking, we've played 22, won 3. I think drawn 9 and lost 14.
Drawn 9, have we?
19 points. Last season, we played 16, won 4, drew 1,
Is that right?
lost 11, 13 points. So we're 6 games more, but only on 6 points more, but 1 win less.
So the draws are the issue, obviously the losses, but yeah, we need to turn the draws into wins. I think that's obvious. That's the obvious part that comes out of the stat, isn't it? I think we know that without reading the stats. We just know, because we look back at the results recently and say that shouldn't have been a draw, that should have been a win. So yeah, we know if we can turn just a handful of those draws into wins, the whole season looks totally different. But it is fine margins. Every team will say the same.
Okay, almost there. I want to talk about players. Over 50 players this season. And funnily enough, the defence has not changed that much. You've had Jay, you've had Pennell, Pennant, Billy Orr, Preston, Marcus most of the time. So that's not a lot changed. You've changed a lot around the midfield and other areas. And
yeah.
Now, I mean, you had a hard core, didn't you, of 6 from the previous season. Most of them are still here. Did you see yourself having to use 50 players, or what's behind the thinking of so many coming and goings? I mean, some obviously players have decided to go anyway.
Yeah, some are forced upon me. I mean, I think it's not a secret. If someone offers a player double the money, they'll leave. I have to adapt to that and manage it. So I have to get someone else in. Also, you want to try and create the team that you're after, and if you're not happy with it, you've got to change it. And also, you mentioned about the 6, the core that are still here. You also need to have some stability. You try and keep a heart behind the team, And I would say over the course of, up until now, the core, maybe 1 or 2 need to up their ideas up, but the core haven't let me down. I don't think. I think Matty Johnson's been tremendous. My captain's been brilliant this year. He's come on to another level recently. His consistency of performance is an 8 out of 10 the past 7 games, and he's had to work hard to make sure he was going to be here again. He's done all the hard work you can imagine. I'm delighted with him. We've lost Miles. We lost him for a couple of months now.
His injury.
Great player. Missed him terribly. Experience, and it's also hard to get the right player in for what we can maybe offer. So I might have to keep trying things to get close enough to something that I think you're close to what I want.
Having found the form we've now found, are you confident that might be stopping?
Yeah, well, I think that's yes. But if someone better comes along who I know makes instant impact, I'll try and get him. Because we're not mid-table floating around with the playoffs where relegation isn't a threat. I've got to make sure we get away from the area as quick as possible. It's a fight. I have to fight harder than the rest for the limitations that we have. I don't mind that. I enjoy it. It's part of the job. So, yes, again, to settle things down with the results we've had, it would make sense to not make too many changes and just tweak here and there with what's already here. And that is, of course, the goal.
Okay. We spoke also pre-season about you as a player, Mr. Angry.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I would.
Well, this might be a bit of a tongue-in-cheek question for you, but so far we've given away 9 penalties, 3 red cards. I think you've been booked at least twice. Is there a lack of discipline?
No, there's not. I think there's the penalties. Disappointingly, I have to say, handballs. There's got to be at least 3 in there for handball. I'd prefer if the penalties were a 1v1 where he's got to make a tackle. They're not. They haven't been. That's disappointing. 1 or 2 certainly weren't penalties, so that can be a false statistic. 3 red cards were in February. That's not a big number at all. As for me, I've had more than 2. I can tell you, more like 5. We're competitive. it's a competitive atmosphere. It's win at all costs, and I know that I try to instill a competitive environment and a competitive mindset, and sometimes you'll not get that perfect. It'll boil over, and we're all human. In the day, it's just about not boiling over unnecessarily, and keeping your competitive edge, but also keeping your discipline and keeping control. I wouldn't say I've had a player unnecessarily sent off this year. Marcus's looks bad, but that was just badly timed. There was no malice in it. I knew the boy extremely well. It was a badly timed tackle. It looked malicious. It wasn't. Other than that, no, I can't say it's been a terrible moment or a real lack of discipline.
Yeah, brilliant. Have you found it harder than you thought it was going to be?
I found certain aspects harder than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I think I always knew what my limitations would be in terms of recruitment.
Yeah.
I always knew that. Happy to sign players from step 3 and 4. Happy to, obviously, because my team's full of them, and they're doing well, and they're also getting better. Maybe that's also the turn in form, because they're now getting the grips and they've now got their own confidence that they are step 2 players.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will show at the end of the season that they are proper step 2 players for another 15 games time. I think I've learnt a hell of a lot through the losses, through that period, of how to navigate through that. That was tough in terms of keeping the players or keeping the beliefs from the management team in their heads and telling them that it will turn with performances like A, B or C. Keeping them upbeat during that period was a test. I'm glad that I've came through it because I feel like I've learned a hell of a lot from it.
So what was the target for the rest of the season?
I think I would be stupid if I didn't admit that, of course, staying up is the number 1 priority. But I want more than that, because I just do. Why can't we finish 5th from bottom? Why can't we do it? Of course we can. Of course we can. We've had our terrible period. One or two of them haven't had their really bad time yet. They might have been entering it, but there's worse to come from others around us, I can assure you. We just have to I just focus on us. I just focus on us, what we should do, what we can do, levels, expectations, make sure they're reached. And if we do all those things, we'll be fine.
Ryan, appreciate your time again.
Thank you very much. You're a diamond.
Cheers.